Hey, happy Thursday, you guys. Joe, we're back again, chasing comfort. I brought my really good friend with us today, Giri. So we're on chasing comfort. We're talking about how people are going to come back to work, how we're going to get employees back to work. We had a great conversation with Mike about how we're going to go back to restaurants. And Giri, we look forward to talking to you about the orthodontist and what you guys got going on. And thanks for coming to the show. Tell us a little bit about you.
Sounds good. Hey, thanks for having me, guys. My name is Giri Chelian. I'm the owner and orthodontist at Urban-Orthodontics in Union City, New Jersey, urban-orthodontics.com. I've been practicing orthodontics for about 10 years, and this COVID situation has really changed a lot of things about the way we live and practice. So looking forward to discussing a lot of things with you guys.
Great. Great. Gary, the employees are the backbone of every business. I'm sure same for yours. What are you doing to protect them? And, what measures has Urban Orthodontics put in place so that your employees do feel safe?
The number one thing is just the amount of personal protection equipment, the PPE that all healthcare workers have to use. We've always used PPE, level 1 surgical mask, but now I'm in the process of procuring 400 KN95 masks, N95 masks, face shields, gowns, bouffants, basically whatever we can, whatever was normal standard issue has just been heightened and needs to be a lot more, I guess, higher filtration. And another thing that I've personally done was purchase surgically clean air HEPA filters with UV lights to try to create 6 air cycles an hour, almost the same grade at which hospitals are using, medical grade clean air systems. And our overall cleanliness protocol, we've always had a cleaning crew and things of that sort. They're just coming in almost every other day at this point. So those are the basic minimums that we have kind of stepped up to.
Got it. Are you open? Are you considered essential?
So this is where it gets a little tricky. As a doctor's office of providing healthcare, we are considered essential because we have patients that we're responsible for. However, we are not seeing all of our normal patients, meaning we are not open per se. If some kind of emergency arises, I will be in the office. I still go in very regularly, and we're checking our emails, our phone calls. We have kind of moved to a virtual system where if something comes up, our patients will still be able to communicate to us what their concerns are. And we jump on Zoom. And if it's something that can be rectified or remedied by just me getting on a Zoom chat with them, explaining to them what we can do to give some palliative care, we will do that. Otherwise, I will bring them in on a one-by-one basis. They call in right before they come in. Everyone has to wear a mask. They go straight to the chair that is already pre-sterilized, pre-sanitized, I should say. They will take a seat. We'll address that specific concern. And because we've already done the Zoom chat, I already know exactly what I need to do. We make sure we quickly correct whatever the problem or situation is. And then they'll be escorted back to their car or outside, and they go on their way.
Is that the new norm? Is that what we're seeing? Well, first of all, when do you think you're going back? Have you heard anything?
So as of yesterday, 2 days ago, Governor Murphy extended the stay-at-home order for another 30 days. And unfortunately, the NJ, New Jersey Dental Association, they've been trying to lobby the governor to make sure that dental offices and they're kind of that first wave of reopening. They haven't given us an exact open date. From my personal experience, being shut down or being kind of closed since mid-March and then having these moving targets as far as opening dates keep being pushed back from March 30th to April 20th to April 30th, I decided for everyone's safety, my patients and my staff, my employees, that we're going to open June 3rd, giving us at least another 30 days just in case. This is a dynamic situation. So I want to be cognizant and respectful of everyone's safety. So we are going back, scheduling June 3rd, but it may change. We've been rescheduling patients since March. And unfortunately, that's something we have to do. That's what we will do.
So June 3rd, right? Your doors open up. I come to your office. Tell me, walk me through what the new norm is, how things have changed, and what, your customers should expect to see.
Sure. So generally speaking, most orthodontic offices are set up very similar to the picture behind you. We run an open bay type of system. The average patient age is anywhere between age 9 to 16. We're doing braces and Invisalign. So obviously there's a lot of minors and children, boys and girls. So for safety and also privacy things in orthodontics, we don't want to have a male doctor in a private room with a 13-year-old girl and things like that. So we've always kind of encouraged an open bay type of work system where the patients are able to see what the doctor's doing, the doctor is able to see what all the patients are doing, the staff is doing, the assistants are doing. And we invite parents into the treatment area so they can kind of oversee and see what's happening to the child. It's a very different dynamic than a traditional dental office where you're in a closed quarter operatory room. We don't do a lot of procedures that involve aerosols, which is why COVID is has been so easily transmittable. So what we have changed in our office is we are restricting that only the patient, or we're recommending, I should say, that only the patient arrive for their appointment, and any parent, friend, cousin, kind of the entourage that generally comes with them, they wait in the car or stay at home. We really just want to see just that one person for social distancing purpose. And obviously we are seeing children, so if they do come with family members, a parent, a guardian, grandparents, we are encouraging they only come with one family member. This way, just really limiting the amount of people in the office at any given time. We are also implementing a waiting list room. If you can kind of see in my screen, this is kind of our waiting room. This is our reception area. There's benches and things all around. And we don't want anyone to wait. We don't want anyone to linger around in our space. This is still a healthcare facility, but we just don't know. We can't control who they've been in contact with and what they are bringing into the office. So the waiting list room is essentially to limit any extra people at our office, and we will promptly bring them directly into their pre-sanitized assigned chair. All of the chairs in the clinical treatment area have been separated minimum of 6 feet away from each other. So everyone in those 6 chairs are at least 6 feet away from each other. Generally speaking, pre-COVID, we would fill all 6 chairs, especially after school. When the kids are out of school, that's when it's the most popular time for orthodontic appointments. Going forward, we are cutting our capacity by half.
Wow.
We are going to be skipping every chair in between. So out of those 6 chairs, only chair 1, 3, and 5 will be occupied going forward until we kind of get a better handle of what's going on with COVID. And all patients are required to wear a mask. And if they don't come in with the mask, we will obviously be providing masks for them. And kind of the new standard for all dental practices, and I've heard in many other industries, is there's going to be a new waiver form that will be introduced just for the patient's safety, because we're doing everything we can to mitigate any risk, reduce the spread. But considering this is a virus and understanding virology, this is very, very transmittable. So to kind of reassure patients, we are going to have patients kind of sign a waiver, update the medical history. Unfortunately, a lot of people in my community have been tested positive and have been infected of COVID. So we want to make sure we're aware of it and also conscientious of that. And we usually provide coffee, tea, hot chocolate, magazines, which is pretty standard in most dental and my office as well. We have removed all of those items. And it's mainly because we just don't want someone that doesn't know. You can be asymptomatic for quite some time. So just because we opened back in June doesn't mean the virus has gone away. So all magazines will be removed, all pictures, some of the fun things that we used to do. We have a lot of pictures. We take a lot of pictures. We're very active on social media. We're going to I'm still doing them, but it's just me with a mask now. So it's just a little different. Coffee, tea, cookies, and biscuits for the parents while they wait. I'm sorry, we just can't do that. I'm a big stickler for good oral hygiene, so I have a big toothbrush station. We give away free toothbrush and we encourage good hygiene. Mouthwash, toothbrush, flossing, that is now a hand washing station. We just don't want anyone to be irresponsible a little bit, kind of not careful how they spit, for instance, and accidentally spread unknowingly.
Yeah, sure. So tell me about this waiver form. I mean, we are hearing this in other businesses. What are some of the questions on that form that we should be expecting?
For the most part, it's just to identify if they've been tested, if they had COVID, because quite many people have, and how long they've been isolated for. And the basic questions is more for them to understand that these are all of our safety precautions. We want you to know that we're trying everything in our possible ability to limit transmitting this very highly contagious virus, and for them to understand that when you do come back, we have controlled as much as we can, and if you are still willing to come back, which we hope you do, these are the risks that can possibly happen. It's very similar to an informed consent. It basically just has COVID kind of included to it.
Yeah, we are seeing, or we are hearing that restaurants want to actually have a form like that as well. And there's a lot of resistance from some people, but they are doing it overseas, asking similar questions before you dine in an establishment. I believe one of the other questions was, have you traveled overseas? There's a few other questions on there. But it's not getting, it's pretty negative in the restaurant world today. I don't know what we're going to see when they start rolling and they're open. But it's interesting to hear another business is doing that as well. And I'm interested to see if other businesses are going to do this as well.
I spoke to a friend who was looking to purchase a home. And when she went to go see the showing with the agent had them sign a waiver, a COVID waiver, to go see an empty house that she was looking into purchasing. Yeah. And I've seen a few of these informed waivers and consent forms. And frankly, I read one of them and it scared the heck out of me. And I'm a doctor and I understand viruses. I study microbiology. I've been in school for over a decade. And it's just kind of overkill. And there's a lot of mixed feelings between other doctors and dentists, and especially in orthodontics where we don't do as many aerosol procedures and we see a lot of children and things. Is this going to scare almost all of our clients away? I can't even imagine restaurants where it's encouraged to come, like it's just a little crazy. It's just a little crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I could see you getting away with that form. I can't see a restaurant getting away with it.
Where are you getting all your information? Because you've got very specific, I think you're impressing Joe. Is he impressing you, bro?
He is.
He's got really, unless we haven't interviewed a lot of people. We haven't had the podcast long enough to be like, oh, Gary's behind the ball. But, I mean, you really have a system over there.
So every dentist and doctor has been practicing what we call universal precaution. We have to assume that pre-COVID, one of the worst things you can get is hepatitis or HIV. And part of all medical and dental training, we always, and this is worldwide, you have to assume that the next person you get in contact with, your patient, has one of those highly contagious diseases. And I was a dentist prior to becoming an orthodontist, and we use needles, it's no shocker there. And when you're handling a needle and you're injecting someone's mouth, there's bacteria in everyone's mouth, good, bad, but now you're also introducing blood when you're actually doing the injections. And you have to be careful reinserting the needle cap and things of that sort. So your average dental office, doctor's office, they are already having all of these things. We've been practicing this all of our life. That's just part of the bare basics training. And our infection control protocols kind of reflect that. At this point, because of COVID, and we know now how transmissible it is and the 6 feet apart, mind you, and this is where I think the average layman and some of the knowledge is just not quite there yet. They say this virus is shedding. Yes and no. They don't know enough about it, unfortunately. The 6 feet away is mainly because, God forbid, you sneeze. When you sneeze, that's coming out with 130 miles per hour kind of velocity, and that can travel 6 feet. Those little air droplets can travel up to 6 feet. Hence, as a bare blanket, just to not confuse anybody, they're telling the whole public, stay 6 feet away from each other. It's not like you're walking around. If you're coughing nowadays, you're going to get beaten up or stared down, and they may just hang you at this point. But it's not like everyone's going out in public sneezing and coughing. I think everyone knows better at this point. But that's where that 6 feet comes into play. And these are the things that we've kind of had to brainstorm and what we're doing. And the CDC has recommended, the KN95s or N95s, which unfortunately the supply chain is destroyed. I've been trying to order N95s since mid-February, level 3 surgical masks, back ordered.
I want you to go to GothamCleaningsupplies.com.
There we go.
I'll give you a code, bro. We'll take care of
it. Yes, we have them.
100 right now, but yeah, it sounds good. I'll be stocking up.
We have them, and we'll give you a discount for being on the podcast.
Right.
So the CDC, they what recommendations have they come down with? The KN95, or are they 95s?
The N95, they've allowed KN95 because they realize,
no
mainly
supply.
ICU doctors and doctors, they're going to need N95s. And so they've allowed certain companies, certain vendors to get KN95s. And another problem that we're dealing with in the private sector is trying to avoid those fake vendors. There's a lot of knockoffs now.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So we're trying to find reputable vendors that are legitimately selling FDA-approved KN95 masks. Face shields it's pretty much standard at this point. Anytime we're doing any kind of aerosol procedure, which is mainly your hygienist is where you're going to see this big time. Anytime you get a cleaning, for instance, they use a machine called a Cavitron, which is an ultrasonic metal tip that kind of takes that tartar away, but it vibrates at such a high frequency that it creates so much heat that it also sprays water. When you have water spraying onto an ultrasonic tip, that is creating so many aerosolized droplets in the air. And that's why when you've been to the dentist prior, you have this mist around your face afterwards. And that's the biggest number one risk. I feel all of dentistry, even oral surgeons that don't do cleanings, or me that don't do cleanings, because there is that risk of hygienists and dentists when they're using the high speed with the drill, the water, you are creating aerosol. So we're kind of getting blanketed across the whole industry saying, hey, we don't know yet, we're going to have to shut you down.
Yeah. So, I guess you have to wear a full shield for that, right?
Yeah, a full shield. And we used to wear our normal mask with goggles. We always had protective eyewear, but now face shields. So face shields, gowns, full-on gowns for everything, and then we toss them out after each patient. So we're kind of like using this time, we've been stockpiling just in anticipation, because pre-COVID, we would see 60, 80 people a day.
60, 80 people a day, and now you're saying you've cut your chairs in half. I mean, how does that look financially to your business?
It's devastating. The reality of the situation is I still have to see my patients. I have a moral and ethical responsibility, and I want to. That's what I signed up for. But I have to be able to provide a safe environment for them and my employees and myself. I have 2 little girls at home. I want to make sure I'm very careful. All of our employees, they already know this, and we're going to be we're spending about a week prior just going over infection control protocols, re-emphasizing that. They are going to be changing into their scrubs when they come into the office. When they're done for the day, they are changing them out, putting them in a bag. We're going to get them laundered, and that's just the way we are. We're not letting them go in and out freely. Usually in my office, my uniform is my t-shirt, which is actually this, right? This is my uniform. I wear my swag, and we give t-shirts away. I wear jeans. It's a very comfortable environment because that's what I like. We have our music blasting, and it's a very laid back. It's just different right now. And that's kind of the steps we have to do. And financially, right now, I just want to be able to see my patients. I haven't seen them in 2.5 months. I've been doing virtual appointments with them, making sure they're okay. And a lot of them are good, which is great. But I can't just say, oh, well, suddenly this COVID happened, my prices went up, so I'm going to charge you more. That's just not right. That's just not right.
Are you able to bill for these Zooms? I mean, how does that work if you're getting on a Zoom?
Frankly, no, the guidelines aren't clear on that. Some insurances are saying yes, but then when you try to actually submit the claim, they're denying you. So it's, I do it out of being a good guy, being a good doctor. I just feel like that's what I would want if my child was in treatment with their doctor. So I do it because we need to. That's what a doctor's supposed to do. I mean, my wife's had a virtual doctor's appointment. My kids had a virtual doctor's appointment when this COVID thing came out. And I'd rather be ahead of the curve. And I want to make sure my patients know that, hey, I got your back, pandemic or not.
You say that you miss your patients. I know for a fact that your patients miss you, bro. They do. Sorry to cut you off, Joe. What do you got?
It's all good. It's all good. Going back to the financial end of it, were you able to file for PPP?
I was. So I was able to get PPP. I was lucky to work with a good local bank who really helped me out and was able to procure the loan. The catch-22 of that, the Fed guidelines stipulate 8 weeks, use it or lose it. You have to rehire everyone that's been furloughed and things of that sort. But unfortunately, a lot of my full-time employees, they're a little scared to come back themselves. They've been out of work for 6 weeks. I had 3 people come back this past week, and I could see in their eyes, they've been shell-shocked. They are scared coming in, and we're not seeing any patients. I just wanted to bring them back, make them whole. You know, the unemployment system in New Jersey has been a mess, to put it lightly. Some of my people have not been getting what they were owed, and I felt really bad. It's out of my hands either. So they're coming back, and they're genuinely scared. So we're trying to reacclimate them back into the workforce without any patients. And I don't know. I'm afraid that as I start bringing in more people in, they're going to be some. I'm not sure they're going to want to come back. Bottom line.
I think you're approaching it the right way. A lot of businesses are doing exactly what you're doing. People are in shell shock. It's a common thing. I'm seeing it all over the place. I mean, it's pretty common. Have you thought about how you're going to protect yourself if one of your staff members has COVID-19? And how do we protect you, Giri, from that so that you're not quarantined for 14 days?
The reality of the situation is, by implementing some of these newer systems, I was always a frequent hand washer and certain things that I've always kind of done. Came home from work, took a shower, you know, kept myself clean. Anytime, avoiding your nose, face, those kind of contacts, essentially by wearing a face shield almost the whole time and a gown. I go through probably, just myself, go through about 200 pairs of gloves a day when I'm seeing patients. It's just kind of using those same things, but by also implementing social distancing and limiting certain patients and the temperature reading, which we're going to be doing with some of our patients coming in, mandatory. We're hoping to mitigate certain risks and avoiding unnecessary risks. There is one procedure we do that creates aerosol, which is when we get the braces off, for instance, it's called a debanding procedure. We remove all of the braces and we use a drill with a special type of burr that removes all the glue and adhesives. During that procedure, you're using a high-speed drill, which goes at 100,000 RPMs, the same one that the dentist would use to drill a cavity. That can create aerosol. One thing I'm going to do is avoid using water, because that water mixed with 100,000 RPM is going to aerosolize anything out there. I've also purchased peroxyl rinse. There's been a few studies that have shown that hydrogen peroxide has been pretty effective in kind of breaking down the virus wall. So for certain procedures that are more high risk, we're going to recommend a peroxyl rinse for 30 seconds. And obviously we're not going to do it for every patient because that's too much aerosol in there anyway. But what we're hoping by doing some of those things that we mitigate the risk. I think I'd be naive to say that this is that's all I need to do, because in the end, it is a virus. It's a very highly contagious virus at that. So wishful thinking is also there, but trying to stay optimistic over it. If this does happen, we will have to shut down again, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, are you the only orthodontist in there?
I am.
You are. You are. Okay. Yeah. So that's something that's scary. That's definitely scary.
It is very scary.
I do recommend staggering shifts with your staff. I mean, unfortunately, you have to be there all the time. But what we're trying to do in other businesses is, have a certain staff of whatever and keep that staff together and rotate the staffs so that at least that group will be able to keep the office open to some extent if group A, for example, comes down with COVID. So we do think that staggering shifts is going to be something that it's going to be pretty common in a lot of businesses.
No, I like that. And that's something that I'm trying to work out the logistical payroll with the staggered shift. And that's a whole other thing that's my problem, but I think that's a great idea.
So the paroxysmal mist you were just talking about, what other, I mean, in the past 7 or 8 weeks, I'm sure a lot of new innovative ideas or products have come into the orthodontist world to, I guess, help mitigate the risk. Is there anything cool that you're looking at or anything we should know that's going to be coming up?
So, and I'm a sucker for somewhat technology, and one product that I thought was really cool was this company out of Canada called Surgically Clean Air. They sell medical grade air purifiers with filters, with a charcoal or carbon filter and a UV light, and shown, like in their studies, to actually be effective against virus particles at 0.1 microns. Which is smaller than the coronavirus. And with their level of, I guess, intake and suction and air circulation, you are essentially creating a negative pressure room, which is supposed to be the most effective way or the way to treat an active COVID patient that's coughing, breathing in an ICU type of situation. So I purchased 3 of these units, which I'm supposed to be taking delivery of hopefully next week, but obviously they're back ordered and shipping has been somewhat of a nightmare. And I purchased these like 2 months ago when this first came out. I was like, I want to make sure I'm very well equipped. And people laughed at me when I bought it. They're like, you're crazy. You're crazy. Why are you buying that stuff? That's so expensive. You're crazy. And now they're like, I want to get one, but they're sold out. It's a little overkill, I think, but I'd rather be on the side of overcautious and overprotective for everyone's safety and a little too loosey-goosey.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what it's going to look like in 6 months. As far as the pricing, we do own Gotham Chemical as well, and I'll tell you, as a supplier, our prices are higher than normal because we're paying higher than normal as well.
Are you taking people's temperatures as they come in the door, Giri?
Yeah, we are. Instead of having everyone sign these waivers when they come in, starting next week, we're going to be contacting each patient and emailing them a DocuSign for the waivers.
You sent me that, right?
How much time they're actually interacting with our front desk. And we go over certain protocols about, if you traveled, for instance, and have you been in contact with somebody that has been sick? Have you been self-quarantined, tested, not tested, positive or recovered? We're doing all of those things, and a temperature screening prior to their visit will occur for every patient. And anything above 100.4, we will have to refuse them to be seen, and we'll reschedule their appointment.
I spoke to Mike the other day, who was hesitant to say that everybody was on board about taking temperatures of customers, right?
Yeah.
And we're all human beings. Like, how do you not look out for somebody else and say, I'll definitely give you my temperature. I mean, you're not asking for my credit card number.
I'm in Manhattan every day. When I come across somebody without a mask, it's disrespectful to everybody else, in my opinion, and this is kind of exactly what you're saying, Rob.
Remember in the 40s, they had those establishments, you'd hide away and drink in the back of the other establishment, like it was a secret getaway, you had alcohol. That's what this is going to be like, yo, I got a COVID-free place, bro.
In the back. Behind that wall.
Telling you.
Absolutely.
Multiple temperature sensors, they're sticking you with like, yeah, he's good. But then you got to stay there for 30 days.
Please let me know
That's all.
where that is and let me know if they have bourbon.
Any other comments, Gary, that you want to get out to your customers?
I just want them to know they're not alone on this. And, you know, like there's a lot of good people, a lot of good business owners, restaurant owners, everyone that are doing their part, that really want to be able to see them as patrons, as clients, as patients, but we want to do it responsibly. You know, we want them to understand that this has been tough for us too. I have a friend that they're in Texas, and they're opening up their restaurant at 25% capacity. He's losing money. He's burning through it, but he needs to do it. He wants this economy to come back. He wants to make his employees whole. He wants to do the right thing. Unfortunately, we are all kind of under the gun. As with your business, prices are sky high. There are some scrupulous people that are price gouging. We are trying to do our best to do it responsibly and to give us a little bit of also, I don't want to say leniency, but just show a little patience with us as well. We're not all perfect. We're just doing our part. We're doing the best we can. And, you know, we want to do what we all want to do. But give us a little grace while we're kind of getting these things all sorted out.
Gary, after COVID, what is the first thing you're going to do?
I want to go to Cheesecake Factory because that's my daughter's favorite restaurant. She's been.
That's where we met.
Yeah, that's her favorite spot. That's our tradition. I work Saturdays, and usually after work on Saturday, I come home, get the girls, and we go to Cheesecake for dinner, and wait in an obscene wait, and then we finally get seated, and she gets her spaghetti and meatballs. Everyone's happy.
That's awesome. Here's a question I like to ask everybody because I'm not home, and a lot of people are quarantined, and except me, it seems like. Tell me, like, have you remodeled your whole house being a home for these past 7-8 weeks?
I started the garage and I quickly stopped. As much as I like to say I got that done, I did not. I started doing a little bit of yard work. I'm planting a garden. That's something that, the weather's starting to get good. I want to get my girls and do some kind of family activity outside. Yeah. So that's kind of on the works right now.
Yeah, I was talking to one client today. He's like, "You're not going to find one weed in my lawn." He's like, "I got 2 acres of lawn." He's like, "You will not find one weed. I've been picking weeds for 8 weeks."
And out of everything, what do you miss the most?
I love having people over at my house. My in-laws are not that far away from me. My brother-in-law, sister-in-law, they're in Queens. I love having like a big family dinner. Sundays is really important to me. And just getting the family and friends together. And it sucks. It really sucks, and the kids miss. There's only so much you can do. These virtual options that we have nowadays, it's great. It's fantastic. It's definitely a good way to connect. But I miss getting a big hug from somebody I love. Joe, Rob, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me. And this is great. I really love what you guys are doing.
Just give us your information before you go.
Oh, yeah. My name is Dr. Giri Chelian. I'm the orthodontist, the only orthodontist at Urban-Orthodontics in Union City, New Jersey.
Thank you. That was pretty good. And thank you for being here tonight. I mean, it was definitely a pleasure talking to you. And I hope and wish you and your family well and back in business soon.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.